From the stars they came, outer gods and great old ones, consuming, corrupting, and enslaving as they saw fit. In time though, they were all overthrown, and decayed into naught but an unpleasant memory. Of course, that is not dead which can eternal lie, and deep within Terraria a seed blossoms, a seed of blood and flesh, which will bloom across the land, transforming the entire world, eventually bearing fruit as a dread god reborn, and a tide of eldritch terrors to burn the stars themselves.
Hello, my honey. Hello, my rack.
On the day the tyrant god of the deep fell, the people of Terraria rejoiced. For the first time in an eternity, their world was free, or so it seemed. Butchering the great old one's corpse, the dismembered body parts were hidden away, its titanic and foul innards buried and cast away far from civilization, and for a time there was peace. Soon enough though, from the wilderness, a rancid creep was found to be consuming the land, much as the corruption had before it. The fleshy mat was the colour of blood, and came to be called as such, the Crimson. Eventually, the true hero of Terraria ventured into the cursed land, finding deep, vein-like tunnels cut through the ground, and the terrible brain of Cthulhu, thought to be buried and long dead. The terrible creature would at last be routed, along with the other resurrected parts of the dread god, by Terraria's champion. The Crimson would even be purged from the world, but the blood of Cthulhu had touched the ground, seeped into the very core of Terraria, and no matter the efforts to rid the world of it, that seed would still remain, waiting. Unbeknown to the people of the world, gods such as Cthulhu can never truly be destroyed, and by tearing its body apart they were only delaying the inevitable. As soon as the body parts were buried, an infection began to spread, transforming the ground and very rock around them into living cells of an eldritch horror. As time went on, the infection spread deeper, tearing open the ground into caverns and growing hearts to pump the infection even further. In these caverns, native subterranean life would be mutated into crimson abominations, and brand new horrors were born to protect the now living organism. Given enough time, the entire world of Terraria would be consumed by the infection, morphing into a brand new cosmic horror tasked with a single purpose, the production of more abominations. Terraria would become nothing more than an oversized womb, a factory to create an army of titanic monstrosities. The caverns would grow and merge, the venous tunnels creeping throughout the earth seeking more nutrients, and an embryo would eventually form at the centre of the largest void, the first embryo being that of the fallen Great One, destined to be reborn. Under his watchful eye, the purged surface of what had once been Terraria would become swarmed with smaller versions of the Great God, each bestowed with a portion of his power. The army that would be fittingly named the Star Spawn of Cthulhu would be capable of blazing a trail of destruction across the universe, conquering world after world for their great leader, the Moon Lord. And here we see the true plan at work. It was never the Moon Lord's intention to simply enslave Terraria, but to use it to create the tool he would use to conquer the entire universe, subduing even the outer gods in the process. It was always his plan for Cthulhu to be defeated, as he was merely meant to be the carrier of the infection that would spread across the world. In fact, this carrier wasn't even the true Cthulhu, for there is no brother of Cthulhu named the Moon Lord. The Cthulhu we know is a cloned vessel programmed to appear to be a great old one, lead the army, conduct the Moon Lord's bidding, so that the true mastermind may sit back, not risking himself. You see, the Moon Lord is the real Cthulhu. The game even acknowledges this, with the eyes the Moon Lord summons during the final fight being named the true eyes of Cthulhu. The Moon Lord knew the denizens of Terraria would fight back. It was his plan for them to defeat his puppet and spill his blood that would create the Crimson. He needed to make it appear as if they had really won though, until it was too late and the infection had already taken root. But he never expected someone such as Terraria's champion to begin cleansing the Crimson, so he was forced to resort to more and more desperate measures to stop him. The lunatic cultist, the lunar towers to protect his ventures, and even intervening himself when all else had failed. Luckily, all of his efforts were pushed back, and Terraria is indeed purified. But for how long? Right now, the only thing that stands in the way of the Scourge of Cthulhu's Star Spawn is Terraria's champion and the company they keep. But one day, they will be gone, and the Crimson Seed will have a chance to bloom once again. Maybe another will rise to maintain Terraria's purity, or maybe the Moon Lord's return and birth of the Starspawn is inevitable. Only time and the efforts of Terraria's people will ultimately tell.